I want you to just close your eyes for a second and picture a sound. It's 2 in the morning.
Oh, I know the sound.
You have a huge client presentation at 9 a.m. You've just hit render on your final model, and then your computer starts making that noise. That ooh.
Like a jet engine is trying to take off from your desk.
Exactly. That high-pitched whine, and you're just staring at a progress bar that says, time remaining, 6 hours, the room's getting hotter.
Right.
And you get that sinking feeling, that cold panic, wondering, did I remember to turn on the bathroom light in the model? Because I do not have time to do this again.
That is the rendering bottleneck. And honestly, anyone in architecture, interior design, anyone who's touched this stuff has a visceral scar from that experience. It's the sound of lost sleep.
It's the worst. But today, we're doing a deep dive into something that claims to just delete that entire experience. We're looking at Rendero AI,
Right.
a tool that says it can turn that hours-long fan-spinning nightmare into something that happens in seconds.
Seconds to minutes, yeah. It's a massive claim. And, usually when you hear instant rendering, you assume it's going to look like a video game, not photorealistic.
So we've combed through their documentation, the feature breakdowns, FAQs, all of it to figure this out. Our mission is pretty simple. Is Rendero AI actually democratizing architectural visualization, or is it just, more AI hype?
And to answer that, you really have to look at what it's replacing. Because the shift here isn't just speed. It's a fundamental change in the physics of how the image is even made.
Okay, let's start there, the old way. Because the source material paints a pretty bleak picture, which frankly matches my 2 a.m. trauma perfectly. Why is traditional rendering so heavy?
Well, the sources describe it as expensive, time-consuming, and skill-intensive, which is an understatement. These engines, things like V-Ray or Blender cycles, they're basically physics simulators.
You mean they're simulating actual light particles?
Precisely. When you hit render, the computer is calculating the path of millions of individual light rays. It traces a ray from the sun, it bounces off a wall, it calculates absorption, how it refracts through glass.
For every single pixel.
For every single pixel.
Yeah.
It's solving incredibly complex equations over and over.
Which is why you need a computer that costs as much as a small car to run it.
Exactly. You need that heavy-duty local hardware, those big GPUs. And on top of that, you need the technical skill. You have to know about material nodes, HDRI maps, sampling rates. It's a whole separate career, really.
And Rendero is just saying, nope, we're skipping all that.
Correct. The big shift is from calculating to predicting. Rendero isn't tracing physics. It uses a neural network that has learned what a building looks like from thousands of real photos.
So instead of doing the math, it's just making an educated guess.
A very, very educated guess. It's predicting what the final image should look like based on all that data.
And the practical result of that is the speed, but also the hardware liberation. This part in the notes really stood out. It's cloud-based.
This is huge. Your device isn't doing the work. Their servers are. The sources say you can run this on a tablet or just in a browser.
That's a wild thought. You could be on a construction site with an iPad, generating an image that used to require a giant desktop locked in a cold room.
It completely decouples the quality of your image from your personal hardware budget. It's a game changer for just working on the go.
Okay, so that's the how, but let's talk about the what. How do you actually use it? Because I think a lot of people hear AI and think, you just type, make me a cool house.
Right, and it's not that. It's not a text-to-image toy. It's primarily an image-to-image tool. It's designed to fit into a real professional workflow.
Yeah, I saw the list of inputs. You can upload a rough sketch, a screenshot, or a clay render. For anyone listening who's not in the industry, what is that?
A clay render is just the geometry. Imagine your 3D model made of plain white clay, no textures, no wood, no glass, just the shapes.
The skeleton of the design.
Exactly. Architects use them to check the massing, the forms. So with Rendero, you can take that boring white model, upload it, and that's step one.
Okay. And step 2 is the AI part.
Right, start AI rendering. You add your prompts, so you might type modern minimalist villa, concrete and glass, sunset lighting. Or, and this is really powerful, you can upload a reference image.
Like from a mood board or a magazine?
Yes. You show the AI a photo and say, apply this mood to my model. You're telling it, make the lighting feel like this, make the materials feel like this.
And then step 3 is just refining, upscaling, and so on. But let's get back to the speed. We're talking seconds to a few minutes.
Think about what that does in a client meeting. The old way, the client says, I hate the wood, can we see it in brick?
And you have to say, sure, I'll have that for you in a couple of days.
Exactly. You go back, retexture, relight, re-render overnight. With this, you could do it right there in the meeting.
Yeah.
You want brick? Give me 30 seconds.
That turns rendering from a final presentation into a live design tool.
You're iterating in real time.
Okay, but I have to play the skeptic. I've used AI image generators, I ask for a house, and suddenly there's a window where a door should be. The roof is floating.
The hallucination problem.
For an architect, that's not a funny quirk, that's a lawsuit.
You've hit on the single biggest barrier for professional adoption.
Mm-hmm.
Laws of control. If you can't trust the geometry, you can't use the tool for work. Period.
And the sources say Rendero is tackling this with a feature called segments. This seems like their main answer to the chaos.
It is. So, you have your basic model, you know exactly where the walls and windows are. You don't want the AI getting creative with the structure.
No.
The segments feature lets you define specific areas. You're basically drawing a box around a window and telling the AI, this is glass, don't move it. Just make it look like realistic glass.
So it's like putting a leash on the AI.
A very smart leash.
Yeah.
You're saying, be creative with the textures, be creative with the light, but do not touch the lines. It safeguards the geometry.
That seems crucial. Without that, it's just a toy.
Right. And there was another feature that was really smart, the regional adaptation.
Oh, this was fascinating. You tell Rendero where the building is located.
Yes. And the AI adjusts the lighting and the atmosphere to match that region.
Now, does that really matter? I mean, is the sun in Norway that different from the sun in Florida?
Oh, drastically. It's the angle of the sun, the color, temperature, the haze in the air.
Yeah.
A building in Seattle should have softer, cooler light. A building in Dubai should have harsh, crisp shadows.
And if it's wrong, your brain just knows something is off.
Exactly. It hits the uncanny valley. Your brain says, this looks fake. A 3D artist would spend hours tweaking that manually. Rendero just looks at the location data and says, okay, northern latitude, afternoon.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's very cool. And then you can upscale it to 4K, which is what you need for a professional presentation.
Yep. Presentation ready.
So who is this actually for? The sources list architects, designers, students.
I think it's about leveling the playing field. That's the democratization part. Before, if you were a small studio, you couldn't afford a dedicated visualization specialist.
So your presentations just look cheaper than the big firms.
Right. You're competing with sketches against their Hollywood-level renders. Now, a freelancer can output those same high-end visuals from a coffee shop.
And the testimonials really back this up. There's one from Raja Bose at Studio Bose.
I have that one right here. He says, being able to skip the step of adding materials to a rendering is unbelievable.
Let's pause on that. For non-experts, how big of a deal is skipping the step of adding materials?
It is the most tedious part of 3D modeling. It's called UV mapping. You have to unwrap the 3D shape, find a wood texture, make sure the grain goes the right way. It takes hours. It's fussy, painstaking work.
And he's saying he just skips it.
Yeah, he goes straight from the white model, the clay render, to a photorealistic image. The AI figures out the wood grain. He's bypassing all that grunt work.
That's hours of life reclaimed. And then there's Anna from muac.studio who mentions 3x faster visualizations.
That's a huge productivity boost. It means you can take on more clients or, hopefully spend more time on the actual design.
Right, more time on architecture, less time fighting with software.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk business. How much does all this cost? They're running a freemium model, right?
They are. There's a free tier. You get about 100 credits, which is maybe 20 images.
Just enough to get you hooked.
Enough to see if it works for you. Then the starter plan is $39 a month for about 250 images.
That seems incredibly accessible for a freelancer.
It's a negligible expense. Then the studio plan is $99 a month for around 850 images, which is what they recommend for pros.
And you compare that to a V-Ray license or a new GPU or even just the electricity bill from running renders overnight.
That's a great point. The electricity costs are a real factor. This is way more efficient.
But if I'm a professional studio, my biggest worry isn't the $99, it's data security. I'm uploading my clients' proprietary designs to the cloud.
A critical point, yeah.
What if I'm designing a new headquarters for a big company? I can't have that leaking.
They know it's a deal breaker. The FAQs address it directly. They say they're GDPR compliant, use encrypted transfer, secure backups, the standard enterprise stuff.
So my design isn't just going into a public bucket for the AI to train on?
No, they emphasize it's secure for professional workflows. Now, obviously, if you're designing a top secret government facility, you do your own due diligence.
You probably wouldn't put that on any cloud service.
Exactly. But for 99% of normal architectural work, it seems they have the protocols in place.
Okay, we've been pretty positive. Let's do a reality check. What can this not do?
Yes. This is vital. Do not cancel your Revit or SketchUp subscription. Rendero is not a modeler.
You can't just type, design me a 3-bedroom house.
No. You still need to be an architect. You still have to design the space, figure out the dimensions, the engineering. Garbage in, garbage out still applies. A render will just be a highly realistic image of an ugly building if the design is bad.
It polishes the surface, it doesn't fix the core.
Right. And there's the trade-off on control. We talked about the segments feature, but it's not the same as a manual engine.
How so?
In V-Ray, you can control the exact bounce of a photon. You can say, I want this light 5% dimmer. In an AI tool, you're guiding a probabilistic process. You have less granular control.
So if you're a control freak who needs the reflection in a doorknob to be perfect, this might frustrate you.
It might. But the argument is that doorknob reflection worth 4 extra hours of work? For most meetings, probably not.
It's prioritizing speed and good enough over absolute pixel-perfect control.
And their good enough is getting dangerously close to perfect. The gap is closing every month.
So what's the big picture here? We're moving from rendering as a technical hurdle to rendering as an instant feedback loop.
It's the collapse of the gap between thinking and seeing. You have an idea, and you see it instantly. The feedback loop is closed.
And the sources hint at what's next. They say future tools will automatically analyze and optimize scenes.
That's the next step. Imagine the tool suggests, hey, based on the lighting here, this room is going to be too dark, you should make the window bigger. It moves from a visualization tool to a design assistant.
It's like having a senior partner looking over your shoulder.
An active collaborator, not just a passive tool.
Which brings me to the final thought for you, the listener. The sources claim this lets architects spend more time on creativity and design.
That's the promise, right? Let the machine do the boring stuff so you can be an artist.
So here's the question. If rendering becomes instant and basically free, does that mean we will actually see better buildings? Or will we just see more buildings produced faster because all the friction is gone?
That's the ultimate question of the AI age, isn't it? There's this idea, Jevons paradox, that when you make a resource more efficient, you just consume more of it. I'd like to believe architects will use those freed up hours to refine the design. But the market might just expect them to do 6 times as many projects.
A terrifying and exciting thought. We're handing architects a Ferrari engine. Let's see if they drive it carefully. If you want to see what this looks like, check out the links to Rendero AI in our notes.
It's definitely worth a look, even just to see how far the tech has come.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.
Goodbye, everyone.